You're watching Watch Fox News at 5 with Fraendy Clervaud, Chief Meteorologist Josh Knight, and Sports Director Matt Dow. Watch Fox News.
Well, good Tuesday afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this online edition of your News at 5. I'm Fraendy Clervaud. Let's go ahead and get started with our weather. Chief Meteorologist Josh Knight joining us now in the Weather Center. Things started cool this week, but there's a lot to keep an eye on for the rest of the week, Josh.
That's right, Fraendy. Things are starting to get a little bit busier. It's been almost 3.5 weeks since we've had any rain, and I'm expecting some to push in, especially beginning tomorrow night. Tonight, really this evening, things are great. Some of this extra cloud cover sliding in for us now, going to work to keep temperatures a little bit warmer through the evening hours. Right now, we're at 79. We were in the 80s earlier today. And check this out. Compared to this time last night, we're 5 degrees warmer in Columbia, Winnsboro 9 degrees warmer. So just feeling a bit more comfortable as we work our way throughout the evening. Ultimately, tonight, we're working our way back down into the 50s to right around 60. And I want to show you, kind of zooming out here, what's on the way. Cloud cover starting to push in now, but there is a lot more farther off to our southwest. And it's really going to be a disturbance that we're watching down here in the Gulf that helps bring us some rain over the next few days and really right on into part of the weekend. This evening, things do stay quiet for you, looking at temperatures slower to drop off, still near 70 degrees at 10 o'clock. So I think, again, feeling pretty nice out there for most of us for our Tuesday night. Tomorrow morning, starting off mid-50s to upper 50s, which is closer to normal for this time of the year. And as we go throughout the day, we're still going to warm back up into the 70s, but it's a much cloudier day. Looking for temperatures that are up into the mid-70s by the afternoon, and that's about where we top out. Here's a look at your future watch for tomorrow. Again, more cloud cover throughout the day, but still dry. This takes us all the way to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Better shot for a few more of these showers we get into your Wednesday evening, but especially Wednesday night and into early Thursday morning. Still kind of spotty, hit and miss, unless you live farther south. That's where we're going to see our bigger rain totals out of this entire event. And it's just a couple different waves. We have our best shot for rain Thursday morning, and then we'll bring in another wave as we go Friday night into Saturday. And a lot of it's associated with what's going on down here on both sides of Mexico. First, this area of disturbed weather comes our way, bringing our chance for rain. And then Lydia, right now, hurricane Category 3 storm, dissipates moving across Mexico, but then brings us a second wave of moisture, helping to bring some rain for Wednesday night and into Saturday morning. So here's our first round. Again, that is going to be primarily for Thursday for the first part of the day, but what's developing, what's left of Lydia, then moves our way again as we go late Friday and into Saturday. Here's your Watch Fox 10-day forecast, looking at a 78 for us tomorrow, 72 on Thursday, staying on the cooler side, still in the mid-70s for Friday, rebounding Saturday as we dry out, looking pretty good for us, I think, as we get closer to kickoff for the Gamecocks for homecoming weekend, and then by Sunday, we're drier but cooler. Check out temperatures in the 60s for most of next week. Do a quick check here on traffic for you across the area. We are looking at some heavier traffic, more volume for us, but this is typical for this time of the day as we look onto I-20 on the east side of town. This is just past I-77. Quick check on the maps here. We do see that slow down there, but it opens up pretty quickly after you get past that area. We have a crash reported at the Trenton Road extension in Two Notch, slowing things down for you just a bit. And then in Northeast Columbia, typical slowdowns, especially for us around Clemson and Killian, right there at Farrow Road. And finally, over to Malfunction Junction, we're slow westbound on I-26 right now. 126 looking pretty good leading up to that area. Your drive time up to Chapin today, looking at just about 25 minutes. Pretty typical for this time of the day.
All right, Josh, thanks for that. Well, dozens of religious leaders went straight to the State House today, asking the governor not to resume executions in South Carolina. A group called South Carolinians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty launching a petition against the death penalty during a news conference on the State House steps. The group includes leaders from several different faiths. South Carolina hasn't carried out an execution in more than a decade since the state's supply of lethal injection drugs expired. However, corrections officials were recently able to get a new supply, clearing the way for executions again. But this group is calling on the governor to stand in the way of the death penalty resuming.
But we in South Carolina haven't had the death penalty for 12 years, and so we actually can imagine what it looks like without it. And I believe that when we don't have the death penalty, we can focus on other kinds of criminal legal reform that are actually much more effective than the death penalty is.
Well, when state corrections officials announced they acquired a new supply of lethal injection drugs last month, the governor said justice had been delayed too long, and the move brings the state a step closer to bringing victims' families the closure they are owed. Well, people in Northeast Richland County woke up to anti-Semitic messages in their doorways. Hundreds of people in Lake Carolina say there were flyers all over their neighborhoods this morning, and now an FBI task force is investigating. People living in the Brookshire at Lake Carolina call it a quiet neighborhood, found bags in their driveways or yards filled with anti-Semitic flyers and duck pellets. Watch Fox News talk with one of the individuals who found the bags, and she says this is unacceptable.
Oh, I was literally disgusted. I felt nasty inside. It was a beautiful morning. I was feeling great. It was a great morning. I saw it. I was like, why would you do this?
Well, the Richland County Sheriff's Department is investigating what happened early this morning. They haven't released any details about who could be involved. Well, a circuit court judge is set to clean up what some call a house of horrors. The rundown home in Columbia's Elmwood Park is now the subject of a lawsuit after people who live in the community say it is hurting their community. Our Joey Matei is tracking that case. He's in the studio with more on what people are trying to do, Joey.
Yeah, Fraendy, an investment group owns the property in question, and in the Elmwood Park Neighborhood Association, they say the house has become more than just an eyesore. Now, this house is located on Lincoln Street, and they're talking about the residents are arguing that it has become a haven for the homeless and for crime. During a hearing this afternoon, Columbia police testified there have been 17 calls for service to that unoccupied home this year, and 3 people have been arrested for trespassing. The investment group that owns the property is located out of state and in Arizona, so attorney Tyler Bailey, who represents the neighborhood association, wants the court to appoint someone to take control of the property and improve it. Now, Judge Daniel Coble ruled in favor of the association and plans to formally sign off on documents in this case at a later date. I'm Joey Matei, Watch Fox News, Local First.
All right, Joey, thanks for that. Well, state corrections officials continue to fight against illegal cell phones behind prison walls. They need more money to do it and say it will keep things safer inside state prisons and on the streets. Masharia Adams is live now at the State House. She was there this morning when prison officials were describing what they're facing. Masharia, what can you tell us?
That's right, Fraendy. This afternoon at the State House, several correctional officers and members of the community told a group of state lawmakers how prisoners with cell phones have put their lives in danger. State Director Brian Sterling says he's got a plan, but it's going to take more money to put in place. Correction officials have argued for years that cell phones in prisons are the biggest threat to security. They provide gateways for prisoners to commit crimes, stalk victims, sell drugs, and find new victims both inside and outside prison walls. Sterling says the money set aside by the General Assembly has allowed them to install 50-foot netting around prisons, drone detection, fencing, and cell phone detection devices, among other layers of security to keep cell phones from being dropped over the walls. But they're still being smuggled in. Officials say jamming cell signals is the best way to shut things down, and in July, South Carolina was the first state given the green light to try it. Officials say the testing was a success. They're also working with cell phone companies to shut down illegal cell phone usage. The new efforts saved the life of Lieutenant Francisco Clervaud, who was involved in a major contraband arrest. After that arrest, authorities say the suspect used a contraband phone to order someone on the outside to set Clervaud's house on fire. Clervaud says he almost lost his daughter and family to it.
As a regular day, started getting ready for work. As I go upstairs to get my 3-year-old daughter, I could smell a strong odor of smoke. So started looking around the house, didn't see anything. Went out to the front of the house, and the garage was completely engulfed in flames. So was the front of the house.
According to officials, there has been a rise in legal phone usage by 57% since they've been cracking down on contraband. Coming up tonight at 10, you'll hear more from the people whose lives have been put in danger by contraband. Live at the South Carolina State House, Masharia Adams, Watch Fox News, Local First.
Hello everyone, Matt Vreen here with Sports by Williams-Brice Stadium, where South Carolina football is coming off a week of rest and returning home for its homecoming game this Saturday, hosting the Florida Gators, a game that could prove very important by the end of this season as far as bowl eligibility goes for the currently 2-3 South Carolina Gamecocks. For a lot of Gamecock fans, the 38-6 swamping they got at Florida last year still fresh on the minds, but the Gamecocks talking today saying this year is a new team and a new result.
I haven't mentioned it one time and don't plan on it. You know, it's last year. Anthony Richardson's, thank God, playing for the Colts now, and that was a long night. You know, it's a new defensive coordinator for them, but so there are some schematic changes, but it's the same special teams, same offense as well. So our coaches in their meetings may be watching tape just to, you know, refer back to it, but I haven't mentioned it one time with the coaching staff, and I haven't mentioned last year's game one time with the team, and don't plan on it either.
I would say not really. You know, it's a different game. You know, you don't want to play off emotion. Emotion, you know, gets you beat. So we're just playing Florida. If Florida is right now, we're not worrying about last year because we can't change last year. Last year's gone. You know, that's in the rearview mirror. We're just looking ahead, and you know, we're ready to attack. You know, we're gonna let that go. And we're gonna play hard and try to come out with the dub.
We'll hear more from South Carolina football tonight on the WACH Fox Sports Zone ahead of their 3:30 p.m. kickoff Saturday against the Florida Gators for the homecoming game.
All right, folks, and before we go, here's a look at your top 5 stories trending on watch.com. The family of a Camden man who drowned in the lake is asking questions. Number 2, we have Aaliyah Boston to make a broadcasting debut as a Big Ten studio analyst. Number 3, the beautiful Tuesday weather. And then number 4, we have the tragic car flip on I-20 resulted in 2 fatalities in Kershaw County. And then finally, rounding things off with our violent crime spree across Richland County, ending with the arrest of a Lexington County man. So that's going to do it for this online edition of your News at 5. We'll have much more tonight on the late edition of your News at 10 after the game.